That's very helpful. So now we will look at the sequence of text. So I looked at the textbook of Rodney Jones. I've never met this guy, never read him before this course. I can't read everybody. And I stumbled on advertisements. So I can make it larger. Do you want me to make it larger? Does everybody want me to make it larger or leave it as it is?
Yes, please make it larger.
Sometimes I can, sometimes I won't be able to because I want to squeeze so much information there. Okay, so this is what I found in this book, this text, right? And I love examples because examples created by other people test my model, and I like it because it's hard, and I like it when it's hard. So here it is. Sensual, imaginative brunette, 25, artistic, intelligent, with a sense of humor, enjoys home life, cooking, sports, country life. No ties, own home, seeking a tall, strong, intelligent, fun companion with inner depth for passionate, loving romance. 25-35. Photo guarantees reply. Must feel able to love Ben, my dog, too. London, anywhere. Can anyone sort of, so what is it? Do we know it's an ad, right? I just said it a minute. Advertisement means a short hand for advertisement is an ad. Ad means advertisement. Just put it here. Or an ad. Advertisement. Okay. I'll make it, maybe I'll just translate it for those students whose English might not be so strong. I know that your English is great. I'll just make sure that we're all on the same page. So it's clearly written to me as a woman. Woman wrote it, right? But it could be a man. So the person, so do we know it's an advertisement? We do, right? How do we know it's an advertisement? Let's follow these questions. So how do we know it's an advertisement? Does anyone not, can anyone just suggest? In chat, let's go to chat and you can maybe type there. How do you know it's an advertisement? Okay, is it an ad? Anyone else? Two people out of 15. Not everybody sure? I think yes. Oh, that's careful. Okay. Nobody else sure? What else could it be if not an ad? Where would you put this ad? Good. Where would you put this ad? What kind of ad is it? What kind of ad? What kind of advertisement is it? There's a word for it. Mind you, if I didn't read this, I would not think of this ad name for the ad. You know, I just don't think of these things on a daily basis. Yeah, it's called matrimonial. Here it is, matrimonial. So you're looking for someone. Personal ad. Yeah. Yeah, I think the word matrimonial is better because it's about marriage or something like that, or partnership. So I'll go through meanings here. How would you analyze it? So we've analyzed it a little bit. We know what's the purpose of it, finding a soulmate. So I'm just gonna bypass the word how would you analyze it at this very moment because I don't want to waste too much time on that. So the person describes themselves as sensual. She's imaginative brunette, 25. She's amazing, intelligent. Just anyway, she describes herself. This is what she likes. Describes herself some more. She says whom she is after. Right? She wants a guy who is just magnificent too. She says she wants to look at his photo because otherwise the person could be a monster. And she says, well, I've got a dog. You have to like my dog too. And she says, well, preferably someone from London. But honestly, if you comply with my demands, you could be from Scotland, right? We will manage the distance. So that's pretty much what this advertisement is about. Discourse analysis, how the heck do we do a discourse analysis on it? And do we need to? I mean, it's not a intellectual piece of work, but short texts like this are really good to understand what's happening in the text. I like working with short texts to begin with because we learn the tools of analysis as they play themselves out on one page, right? So we don't have a book. We have just one page or even less, half a page, and we can actually see how discourse analysis can help us break down what's happening here. Why did the person write this text this particular way? Would you write your advertisement, matrimonial advertisement, the same way? So here is, I can't make it any larger. So this is this book from which I have it. I'll make the analysis larger now. So I'll move it here. So I just will remove that. Okay, so a person that is Rodney Jones in this book quoted, or Rodney Jones himself, this is how they suggested we would analyze the text, all right? So what they say is the advertiser, could be a woman or a man, they describe themselves, right? So they just, pardon me, if I have to interrupt sometimes, I have my mother here, I'm in my mother's place, so, and she doesn't have, she's incapacitated in many ways, so sometimes I just have to talk to her just for 1 second. So sorry for that. So she describes herself, then she describes the kind of person she's looking for. She describes the kind of relationship she wants to engage in. She gives additional information by making a humorous remark. You know, you need to put up with my dog. And then she says how she could be contacted. Now, do you need, I mean, if we now look at the next slide I prepared, what I found interesting is if you look at the point 1, you've got 2 sentences here describing the author of the advertisement. She's sensual, imaginative, 25. Then the next sentence, she enjoys home life, cooking, sports, country life. I just cannot see. Well, my question, my point is that, well, actually 3 sentences, right? She's sensual, imaginative. Then she has a second sentence. She enjoys home life and cooking. And the third sentence, She has no ties and owns her own home, right? Well, that's very interesting. 3 sentences. When you have a descriptor, like here in point 1, the advertiser describes himself or herself. How helpful is it to you as the writer to know that you have to do it in 3 sentences? You see, point 2 here in this analysis, let me point 2, I'll just copy that. It is not clear from point 1 why the author needed 3 sentences. That's interesting. We shouldn't ignore it. Because maybe some of you would just use 1 sentence and then would say, well, I'm just wonderful and I'm looking for a guy just as wonderful. What's wrong with that? So why 3 sentences? And the second thing is, so although we have 3 sentences in which the person described herself, point 1 doesn't account for the 3. It says, well, whatever, she did it in whatever amount of sentences. That's not analysis. You are bypassing the reasons why she did that. Can't do that. My mother can do it. Your children can do it. Oh, she just described herself. Yeah, but if you are a scholar, you need to ask yourself, why the heck did she do it in 3 sentences? And you need to account for it to help you understand what she was doing in that advertisement. So after she's written the 3 sentences and we don't know why, then this particular author says to us, oh, now look, in point 2, then she says whom she wants. Oh, you know, he has to be strong, intelligent. You don't need to be a linguist to say that. Anyone can see it, that in sentence 4, she is identifying the features of her future mate or desirable mate. Next point is quite nice, I think, though I'm not sure. I mean, I don't do it this way, but next point, she's not only describing how this man should look like, but also what this relationship should be like, right? So that's nice. That's nice, that adds. But I'm thinking here, if she describes in point 3 the kind of relationship she wants with this man, then maybe in point 1 somehow, oh, sorry for that. We could, the analysis should account for what she brings into the relationship to make this kind of amazing, passionate marriage work, right? So we don't know what she has on offer to make number 3 possible. Then number 4 here, the analysis is the author gives additional information. Like if you don't know what to do, if you as an analyst don't know what to do with the bit when she says, must be able to love my dog, you call it additional information. It's not very useful, right? It's not very useful. And I will tell you why I'm saying this, because everyone else can see it. It's an additional information. But why did she throw it in there? And then the advertiser indicates how she can be contacted, or big deal. We see it. So in some sense, such a linear analysis it's not bad, right? But it doesn't bring anything that we could generalize now, and I'll show you why I think that. So we could do it in groups now. How about we do it in groups, guys? What do you think? Should we test the model in groups? Let's try the groups, how they work. What I would like you to do is to see if you can take this structure and apply it to a poster. Right? It's a poster ad. It's an advertisement, clearly. You know, you've seen advertisements of cars, advertisements of clothes, and so on. So it's an advertisement. But or maybe we do it in chat. Maybe chat would be better, faster. So if we look at the advertisement here, which is on the slide now, and if we were to use this structure that this particular author used to analyze the matrimonial advertisement, could we apply it also into a car sale advertisement? So for example, has the advertiser describing himself? Sorry, I missed the R there. Has the advertiser describing himself?
Co ty tam szaragoczesz? Co ty szaragoczesz?
So no ideas? I mean, clearly the advertiser is describing himself here in this poster, right? So I'm just afraid that if we went into groups, I think going into the groups would be better because you would brainstorm better in groups. But maybe we can brainstorm in chat, at least for now. Do you see the brand? Do we see the brand of the car? Guys, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Is the brand. So is the brand describing the producer, the advertiser? Right, so, but notice it has a logo, but it doesn't say Audi. Why doesn't it say Audi? But why doesn't it say it's Audi? Why does it just have the logo? Any other ideas? We'll have a break in 15 minutes, so I would really like to finish this particular segment.
Ania, you can see the answer in the chat, the students' answer in the chat.
Yeah, but hardly
Right
any.
answer.
I've got the logo shows itself since the brand is famous. Yes. Yes, but we have on writing a lot and we don't see any other students talking. Come on, friends. I need to hear you. So it makes me think that we need to probably, for the next task, break into groups because it's very quiet in the chat. Watches will have a more focus on the style of the car. You know, I've got the Lexus. It looks pretty much the same, you know. I think they imitate one another, you know, with style. But yes, so describes himself with a logo. Doesn't say it's Audi for many reasons, because as someone mentioned it, maybe the logo is enough, but maybe the logo is so famous, right? He doesn't have to say we're Audi. Everybody knows it's Audi. I mean, if you don't know it's an Audi, you shouldn't buy my car. You clearly are not in the league, right? Not in the league, meaning not the customer we're after, right? We want a customer who actually knows about us. We're just excellent, right? So what you're learning now, this is not necessarily the pattern of discourse analysis I endorse, but what we're doing now is we're learning to generalize. So while this one was a matrimonial advertisement, what we are learning is how to transfer one thinking into another context, right? So I might not endorse it, but we are learning that matrimonial questions might help us even understanding a poster. Right, so, right, I read that comment was good, really good. So logo is famous, you know, if you can't recognize that we're Audi, you're not the person we're after. Okay, so describes the kind of person he or she is looking for, right? Is this advertisement describing the kind of client they are looking for? Is it hard to tell? It's hard to tell. Those who are looking for a new car, well, many people, so that's a large number of people, okay? Those who want a new car, it is many people. So maybe they focus it better, like narrow the description of the customer, of the potential customer.
May I say something?
Yeah.
Yes, I think that this is advertisement looking for the potential customer who interested in Audi and have enough money to buy it, and especially for
Okay,
those
so
who
what you
looking
say,
for the new one.
rich enough, right?
Yes.
So middle class, something like middle class minimum,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Okay. So, but why is the girl there? So we're looking at the car, but there's a chick there, chick. And then in Australian English means a good-looking girl. All right, so there's a young woman there. What is she doing there? Okay, so when you look at the picture, at the photo, what is the girl doing?
She is looking at the car.
Exactly. Turning her head. Now, if it was a crappy $2,000 car, oh, sorry, $2,000, it should be dollars, okay? $2,000 car, would she turn her head? Maybe no, most likely no, right? I mean, that's that we're working with stereotypes, right? We're working with stereotypes. So the person they want is someone who has the ambition to turn heads. They use the girl because it works, but someone who has the ambition to turn heads. Look at the car I have, and everybody's looking. I mean, when you see a new Lexus or a new Lamborghini or something special, you turn head. But not just any head, a young and pretty woman's head, right? So you look cool. So the person, you know, someone who wants to, so the customer, someone who wants to look cool and turns heads, right? That's a description in English, and turns heads, which means people turn around to impress. Exactly. I mean, I do that. I've got that. I like beautiful cars. I like beautiful and new cars. I do. And it's not so much maybe for, yeah, I like when people come into my car and love it. Because I love my car and I like when people do. So yeah, I kind of relate to that. Yes, young woman who, well, anyone. But it's a very good question, really. When I look at this, when you look at this ad, do you think it is produced for men as buyers or for women? Who are the buyers? Men or women? Why do you think it's women? Basically, here the ad is saying, when you have our car, you will be attracting attention. When you drive, so the ad is saying, when you drive our car, you will attract attention. So my question is, me as a woman, do I want to attract attention of other women? Is this ad produced for a buyer who is a woman and wants to attract attention of other women?
No, I don't think so. I think this model especially for men.
Right. Rather youngish men, but men. I think so too. It is about, look, if you have this car, when a girl looks at you, she will feel good. And what is it that the man is selling to the, what is the man selling to the woman when he has a great car? Selling, in a sense, what is the man communicating to the woman with a great car? I want to date you. Yeah. What else? That's pretty good. Yes. And what do we call it? What do we call this? Rich, powerful, and wealth. What is, I mean, you may not have enough world knowledge to name it, but there is a word for it. The man is highlighting his status, right? The man is highlighting his status. When you come into my car, you do not look like a homeless person. In my car, you are not like a homeless person. I provide, right? Women like men with status. It's in our biology. And men know it and women know it. You know, like we say a lot of times, women the reason for it is biological reason. If you have children and you marry a homeless person, your children are not likely to get milk. It's as simple as this. Once you run out of milk, that's it. Right? So it's really biological. It's animals do it and so on. You want the guy who's the strongest, or the guy who can provide, the guy who has some status, the guy who can do, not a loser. So this ad is playing on all these principles. Right, so the advertiser says, we're Audi. And if you do not know what Audi is, so I'm looking at point 1 of this analysis. If you don't know what's an Audi, just go. Don't worry about us. You are the person who wants to turn heads or has an ambition to turn heads, right? So we're talking to you. If you like turning heads, we're talking to you because our car turns heads, right? Our car turns heads. The kind of relationship. Well, the relationship you will engage, the relationships or activities you will engage in when you buy a car. Number 3 now point. Well, you will be turning heads and you will communicate status. These are the activities. You'll be turning heads. Turning heads and communicating status. Additional information. You see, now, so first of all, if you look at our analysis so far until we got to the point 4, we did a lot of work, right? Like these pointers were good from the matrimonial ad, right? These pointers of analysis were good, but they weren't pointing us to anything. It was very hard to analyze. And now we get to point 4, which is the advertiser gives additional information. What's the additional information? This ad would have cost Audi millions of dollars, right? Because to produce it, they have to pay money to people, and then to place it on television or on billboards, you know, like when you go to an airport and you have these big billboards advertising cigarettes or leather or I don't know, Olympics, right? So it costs millions of dollars. And do you think they would, Audi, when they spent millions of dollars in an ad, they would have an afterthought? What's an afterthought? An afterthought is a situation like, oh, by the way, I forgot to tell you that I also love you. Or, oh, by the way, I forgot that I left chicken on the table for you. Right? So afterthought is when you close the situation, you said goodbye to someone, and then you reminded yourself something, and I said, oh, by the way, I forgot. Do you think when you spend millions of dollars, you will have an afterthought? Oh, by the way, we forgot to tell you. Right, so number 4 here is not working very well. What's the additional information? Do you see the writing on the picture? Let me make it bigger. Oh my goodness gracious, I can't. So the writing says, keep the eyes on the new. Why did they write that? Where does it belong? To number 1, 2, 3? Is this an afterthought? Additional information? Is that an additional information? I mean, in this analysis of this ad, which the author of the book, Richard Jones, produced, where does this text fit in? Is it number 1, number 4, number 5? What is it? Is this an additional information? You could say that, I think. But is it really an additional information? Oh, by the way, keep the eyes on the new. Okay, so do you think, guys, so maybe it is, well, it's not a slogan, you don't call it a slogan. It is a slogan, but we would call it something else here, like, what would I call it?
Oh,
Well,
caption.
Yes, it's a caption. That's it. Caption. Advertising point or whatever. Caption. Yes, caption is probably a better word to call it. An advertising point, you know, like the essence. It's the essence. It's not really an additional information. It's the essence of the ad. It's just like the most important part of it. If you want to be, if you're a person who wants to turn heads, we are just the brand. Okay, so this is what the ad is saying. If you are a person who wants to turn heads, what was I saying? We are just the brand for you with a new, I don't want to say car, but let's say the car, with our new car. Visit a salon, right? So basically a car salon. So that's how you would summarize this ad pretty much, using the descriptions from the matrimonial, you know, using the structure of the matrimonial ad that we borrowed and applied here. If you're a person who wants to turn heads, we are just a brand for you with our new car, right? Visit our salon, because you know it has a you know that they are saying visit our salon because it has an Audi logo. It has an Audi logo, and it's for a purpose, which is you find this car with us. Come and see us. It took us a lot of time and a lot of cultural information that some of you may not have. And it was nice. I think we worked very nicely together to actually produce this text, this short description for this ad. But it was quite hard. I'll show you something else. I wanted to show it to you to take to as your work. We'll just make a break in a few seconds. 15-minute break we will have. But if you look at this ad here, so I will copy this, duplicate it, remove this. Here, on the other hand, they don't have a girl. Right? They don't have a girl. So if we were, is this if we were to apply our text to the same car, so it's the same car, but a different ad. If you are a person who wants to turn heads, well, this car doesn't turn heads, right? We don't see a woman here or a man or anything who's turning heads. I mean, who's turning in order to notice the wonders of this car. There's nobody looking at the car. It is just car. You do have a brand named. In the right corner, you can see a BMW logo. It's very small. So that's all right. It has a point of focus, which is this caption, the icon of presence. So this wouldn't be a thing. We wouldn't say here if you like describe himself or herself. So we are producers of cars that signify other times. Right? The presence, the word present. I'm just making this. I'm just writing this rather than asking you to do it because it's hard, and I want to make a point. That the story of the ad is different, right? So describes himself like we're producers of modern times because of the presence in the caption. How does it describe the buyer? If you are a person who wants to be on the edge, you know, cutting. If you are a person, right? If you are a person who wants to be on the cutting edge, we are the car company for you. Oh, we have a car for you. We have a car for you. Additional information. There is an additional information actually here. But we are working very hard to squeeze all these understandings out of this poster. When we use, okay, so here's my point, just before the break. When we use those matrimonial descriptors, they work for us quite nice. They do. But if you are a second language speaker and Western culture is still you know, away from you. So just wait, friends, I have to say something to my mom. So well, my point really is we're working very hard with those pointers from the matrimonial advertisement to describe what's actually happening in these car posters. So you might say to me, well, that's okay, because that work for matrimonial advertisements, this kind of discourse analysis, and maybe there is a different discourse analysis for car posters, right? It's a good argument. And I think that many linguists would make it. And I'd say, okay, so you have one process for matrimonial advertisements, another process for car sales, another process for understanding a fable, another process for understanding an anecdote. So each genre has its own process of analysis. That's just not effective, right? So this is the message that I wanted to communicate in this first part of our class today. We need effective discourse analysis processes, right? Effective discourse analysis tools. This is not to say, and it's very important, that this is not to say that the one from the matrimonial advertisement is bad. It's good. But we work very hard in order to describe the picture of the poster of the car. So we worked very hard. Now, someone who is maybe a top linguist would say, well, it wasn't suitable for the poster. My question is, if the matrimonial process of analysis is not suitable for the car poster, then it means it's not effective. Right? It's not effective. We cannot have different processes for different genres. Because if you are a top linguist and that's all you do in your life, then this is good for you. But if you are a student in class learning English, you don't have a brain space for every process of analysis for each genre it is on the planet. Right? And that's the point that I think opens now the space for pedagogy, for pedagogic thinking. How can we create a process that can be easily used for all genres and that can guide us without doing so much work as we did now? You know, the status, the money, the head turner, the logo, the captions, just so much work it was. And I can see from our chat, hardly anyone chatted. We have 15 people and we had like 5 people talking. So let us break now for 15 minutes. We will meet at 22. We will meet at about 11, 5 to 11. Okay, we will meet 5. Oh no, my time 5 to 11. Your time is what? We will meet in 15 minutes from now. I don't have your time now. So we meet in 15 minutes from now to look at a different system. Okay. Oh, good. All right, so I'll turn off the camera and I'll turn off my mic. And I don't know how to stop recording, but I'll work it out. Okay, so I'll see you in 15 minutes.